is Drum Talk, and today I'm going to talk about playing the 16th notes one-handed style versus the 16th notes two-handed style. So let me give you an example of both. This is the one-handed style. Versus the two-handed style. Truthfully, what's going to determine which style you use is going to be determined by the speed of the song. Certain tempos are rather easy to play that single-handed style of 16th notes. And it would almost be wrong to use two hands on certain tempos. As you can see, that's a little slow for two hands, but let's listen to that single-handed 16th notes at 80 beats per minute. The question comes down to, how do you develop this? So the way you develop this is using a practice pad, believe it or not. I get away with doing this because I've been playing so long. So there's certain things, certain muscle movements my hands have developed. Now, part of the development of this concept with the wrist to get the 16th notes is playing. I play into it, and with a motion where I'm kind of back and forth. It's a back and forth motion. So let's put some tempo on. 80 beats per minute. Now let's try it 90 beats per minute. Now let's try it at 97 beats per minute. And as you can see, 97 beats per minute is probably the top of my range. If I went to 100, I don't know if I could do it at 100. You can see right there that that's part of the problem. You get to a certain point where it's your level. So 97 beats per minute playing this particular groove. Actually, this is 100 beats per minute. Beats per minute, I'm pushing the envelope there. I am pushing the top of my pocket. probably my sweet spot in speed is probably around 94, 95. So Love's Theme is at 97 for most of the song. It kind of, the song is definitely a 70s song, so it was played with a 70s click, meaning it was played on click, but there was definitely a little bit of variations, very up and down variations. I mean, that's the pocket. That is really the pocket of the song. When you listen to the song, you don't really feel the movement. You just feel the whole group together, breathing. Now, part of this, the trick to playing these kinds of songs is you got to put breaths in there. And part of the breaths end up being open hi-hats or slight push, feelings of pushing. And that kind of makes the groove what it is. And that's how I developed it to be able to do this song with one hand. Originally, the day I did this song originally, which has got a lot of views, I did it with two hands because I wasn't feeling one hand that day. So something over the last 4 years or 5 years almost, I've actually developed the one hand. The 16th note one-handed hi-hat approach comes over time. You start slower. You work on ballads and things like that where you can put the 16th notes in, and then you work your way up to the faster tempos. Because truthfully, you're not going to jump right into a fast tempo. And probably the speed I'd probably max out at is probably 97 to 100. Somewhere in there it's maxed out. And you see me struggling. And you start tightening up when you struggle. The key to playing single-handed 16ths is to be playing in a manner that's loose. You cannot tighten up. Once you tighten up, that changes everything. So all I can say is play as loose as possible. And that's what I'm trying to do with this pocket. I'm trying to play loose. So the motion is a loose motion. It's an up and down motion, and it's a shoulder tip thing going on. Now, I'm not being deliberate shoulder tip, but that's just the action that actually comes out when you listen to the hi-hat pattern. The key is stay loose with your hand. If you tighten up and you start grabbing the stick tighter, what ends up happening is it's not loose anymore, and when it's not loose, it loses the groove and you eventually lose the pocket. Now, playing with the click. If you're in a band situation, you're going to probably not be playing with a click, but if you were playing with a click, don't let the click get ahead of you or behind you. You just got to make the click your friend. And that's sometimes when you start to tighten up, that's when you lose the click. So the key is to keep that pocket going, okay, and not tighten up with your hands. Stay in that loose, relaxed playing style. And then again, that's practicing with your pad. So in conclusion, what I would say to you is the key to the 16th note one-handed groove is to start slow. Start with slow songs, work your way up to the faster songs, and keep working on it. Stay loose. You have a driving motion back and forth, okay? And start with simple bass drum, kick drum patterns. You don't have to do anything crazy. Now, that Love's Theme's got a certain kind of, there's a little skiff beat in there, I'll call it. By the way, I'm not counting it, I'm singing it in my head to get this, so listen for the skiff beat. Another way to approach the song is not to play all 16th notes and break it up a little bit. And I'm sure some guys do, but because it's the disco era, that song requires you to play 16th notes. And believe it or not, playing that skiff beat with two hands, I haven't practiced it in a while, but it's not as easy as playing it with one hand. All right, one other aspect of this I want to talk about is you don't have to play 16ths all the time. You can do the little cheats. And that's how I get through some of these songs. Some days I'm not completely going to be, it's not going to be metronomically or note for note correct, but the pocket and the groove could still be there if you are actually implying the most important hits and getting most of those 16th notes. So let me give it to you with a little bit of the groove and a little bit different than trying to get every 16th note. Okay. So what I was doing there was intermittently breaking it up, breaking the pattern up between my right hand and my left hand, almost paradiddle-ish, but not quite, like different kinds of inversions of paradiddles and things. I'm really not thinking paradiddle, I'm thinking just the space to make the groove. Working on this 16th note one-handed groove takes time, it takes practice. Working it into ballads and other areas that are slower tempos. And it's just working that groove in till you work your way up to the place where you can play the faster tempos. There probably is a cutoff point for every one of us. Mine's somewhere around 97 to 100. Would probably go double-handed. The double-handed approach does work, so use the double-handed approach when you need to. Just be aware that the single-handed approach can be attained if you work on it. So I hope this little lesson helps. Thanks for watching, and I hope it worked, this mic mute scenario that I'm in right now. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. See you all.